So, hi guys, welcome to the session. Just to give you a brief about Kushak. He is one of our favorite alumnus, not only because he's a great success story or he transitioned into an X company with a X hike, not because of those reasons, but majorly because he has always been connected with us and he's always keen to help out the community, to help to pitch in wherever the students need support, and we are really glad and thankful to him for that. So regarding his professional introduction, his journey so far, I think he would be the best person to share that with all of you. So I think we can start. People can keep joining in. Kushag, why don't you just give a brief introduction about yourself to everyone?
Sure. Thanks, Sarika. That was a very kind introduction. I think the help that I have got from pragmatic community, I think that's unparalleled. I think I all the best I can do is repay, but I think that's not possible. I think pragmatic community has been very kind to me in that way. Okay, just I want to quickly get an assurance on my audibility because I'm not sure. So is that okay, or should I just quickly change my setup?
It's okay, Kushal.
It's okay. Okay, great. So we'll continue with this then. How many of us are here in this meeting? I see 11 participants. I think out of which one will be me and one will be Sarika. So we have some nine attendees here, right?
Yeah, right now it's 9.
Okay. Cool, amazing. I think I'm sure we'll have a few more as we progress. So about me, so the way my product management journey has been, I started my career in 2016 as a data scientist, and that was in Mu Sigma. Mu Sigma was my first job, and although it was not a very long stint, it was a 16-month stint. But in those 16 months, what Mu Sigma really taught me was how do you go about understanding a problem, and any problem, regardless of what function, what industry. The process of identifying the core DNA of a problem is very same, regardless of the nature of the problem. And once you identify the core DNA, that's like 95% of the job done. And I think this is one thing which Mu Sigma has done a great job in democratizing, which is the art of problem solving. And I think while Mu Sigma also is a great place to learn a lot about data and acquire some great data science skills, while I couldn't do any of those, but what I really did well was I understood the basic funda of uh, articulation of problem statements, understanding of problem statements, and building the right problem statement structure. So that solution becomes apparent. And from there on, I think when I started thinking about my exit from Mu Sigma, I think product management was a very natural extension to it, for the reason that that's all you do in product management. You are the person who identifies the right problem for the organization, and once that's done, your only job is to drive clarity around that problem statement. So from Mu Sigma, I transitioned into a associate growth slash product role in a very early stage startup called Multibhashi. Uh, I think I was the first growth person, and when I say that, I mean I was the first hire in that company who was not coding, not designing, or not from the founding team. So, so which means anything else that these three uh, guys are not doing, I was supposed to do, which is right from figuring out the marketing to distribution, to thinking of sales channel, and then eventually thinking of what to build, right? And that what to build came because you are the one continuously talking with the users of Multibhashi. Just to give a context on what Multibhashi is, it is a product in linguistic space. India is a country with such a huge linguistic diversity, right? For every 60 kilometers that you travel, you find a new language. So what Multibhashi is doing, Multibhashi is helping you learn local language quickly enough so that you can speak in that language. So someone coming from Jharkhand needs to learn Kannada if the person is in Bangalore. That's what Multibhashi will help you achieve. So I worked there for 6 to 8 months. Was a great learning experience, and I think that's when I came across Pragmatic. I still remember my first conversation with Talvinder, where I gave him a brief on what I'm doing and how should this role help me explore product management. And from there on, I think the journey started off discovering the unknowns, and then came my time with Pragmatic, where the 3 month fellowship then got extended into a project also that I did, and eventually the transition. And the best part about Pragmatic is that the relationship never gets over after the transition as well. I think right from Talvinder to Sarika, all of them are just a WhatsApp text away, and that's how easy the whole community is to access. And yeah, the journey continues. The transition I made, I think this company is into furniture leasing. I'll talk more about the space as I go further in our presentation. But when I joined, I was the first growth PM. Now we have a team of 7 to 8 product managers, and also I was the 11th employee then. Now Casa1 has easily upwards of 150 employees across Bangalore and SF. So far so good. I think it has been more than 2 years, and the learning is only compounding. Uh, so that's about me. I think we have some more than 10 attendees is what I see. So we'll get started. Uh, so before I get started, maybe just a very quick sense of what's the expected agenda here. Like, I know what are we supposed to cover in this conversation. Sarika helped me with that, but if we can just open up and make it more conversational, understand from the attendees what are we trying to do. Like, this is a Saturday night, right? I think we all would have had better plans as well, but we are here because we want to get something out of it. So maybe if we can just speak about it, have a larger sense of agenda in place, then I think the whole conversation will become much more relevant.
Guys, so if you could maybe share a brief about yourself or what you are expecting from this session, anything that you would like to share that would help Kushagra, make it more useful and fruitful for you all.
Hi Kushag, this is Ayush. So I'm not sure whether everyone is seeking out this from this session is, but what I want to get out of this session is so we are studying this product management, these case studies. We are solving cases. We are going
Mhm,
through the theory modules which are taught
mhm,
by Talvinder, and
mhm,
we are into one of our jobs we are doing, either
mhm,
we are into product or not, but how to make
mhm,
that transition into our actual product management job role. So this is the
mhm.
primary this thing which I want to, like
Got
we
it.
are studying, but
That
how to get that, what is that bridge from these
Yeah,
studies to that
I get
job
that,
profile.
Ayush.
Yeah,
Ayush, some background about you. What do you do? Where are you right now?
I'm a product manager at TCS Ion. So TCS
Okay.
Ion is basically into edtech space. So I mean,
Mhm,
we transition. So basically, we
mhm.
are the transformation kind of a partner for all the university, for most of the universities and colleges.
Okay.
So like,
Okay. And which
yeah,
market are these universities situated?
in India.
Is it in the
India,
US or UK?
domestic.
In India.
No, no,
Okay.
India, India
So
market,
interesting.
India job.
Got it. Got it. Cool. Thanks, Ayush. I think you mentioned a very interesting word, which is actual. Between what you are doing right now and an actual product role, I'll actually talk about it because that actual actually speaks a lot about how do we see this
So
transition.
why I said that,
Okay.
no, because I am into TCS, this thing, which is a service based organization. So and
Hmm.
so the people who like used to say, product are from, like, suppose Zomato and all these things. So
I get it.
they
I that's why I indexed on that word. I totally get the sense of what you are hinting here. So
yeah.
cool. I think we'll address that as well. I think cool. I think thanks Ayush for opening up. Anyone else, folks?
Yeah. So I was trying to open up. My case is kind of a little different. I've been a product
Hmm.
manager. I've been an entrepreneur in the beginning of my career. So
Hmm.
uh, there are some things that so the agenda is to figure out my weak pointers, the gaps, if stated differently. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, broadly that's my agenda. How do I try to figure out my gaps, and then the actually goal is to work on them.
Okay.
Just that.
I'm sorry, I missed your
Yeah,
name.
my name is Hari Om.
Hari
Yeah.
Om. Okay. And where are you working right now as a product
So
manager?
my last startup shut down their software operations, and this has happened 3 times in my career. So my resume looks
Okay.
very weird to the anyone who's interviewing me.
No, that's okay because this will position you very
Yeah,
uniquely. We'll talk about that as well.
sure.
What was your last startup into? What space was that?
It was an education technology platform.
Education technology platform. Uh, cool. Thanks, Hariom. So I think good that we are getting a sense of what we want to
Yeah.
achieve here. I think anybody who wants to speak anything, just feel free to drop in. Like you don't have to wait for me to end this session for a Q&A. We can have a parallel Q&A running as we go ahead with this
Sure.
session. I think I didn't get time to prepare a presentation. I'm using the PPT that I prepared last time. But what I did, I have included a couple of questions to begin with. And the question I did not want to ask was why product management? Because actually that question has no answer. It's like asking what is life? There is no eternal realization to it. But what I want to start this meeting with is a couple of questions that will help us explore why product management for me. And I think that's very important to realize because that's what will give you your unique positioning. And when I say you, I mean your profile, your candidature, your CV, your LinkedIn, whatever. Right. So the first question I will throw up here to the audience is that, like for Ayush, you're working as a product manager in TCS, and Hari, you are yourself, you have been an entrepreneur, right? So these are very strong roles that you guys have actually experienced. So now my question is, what impact you think you can bring as a product manager, which you can't bring in your current role or any other role? It could be a software engineer, it could be a designer, a experienced person, a merchandiser, anything. What is that impact you think a PM can bring and no other and can't be bring in any other role?
Okay, you're looking for the answers?
Yeah, if some kind of conversation happens around
Sure,
it, great.
sure. So in short, I'll say, I mean, for me, again, I've been through various parts of building a product, right? In the beginning of my career, I was experimenting with the ideas, its scalability, its reachability, its technical sides, how exactly we'll build the first version. So, uh, and after that, I worked with a couple of startups for some time. Then I realized, I mean, uh, uh, since I've seen a lot of things around this thing, and um, I will be like for the very long term, if I have to decide, the product management would be the right thing I can do, and that was one. Second was like uh, problem solving. I mean, these are kind of a pieces of puzzle that needs to be put together to get something done, right? So that's where this thing came out, like product management. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Hari. That helps.
sure.
Cool. I'll ask another question, which is, and I think this is something where I think it's great if we take a minute just to understand because I think we all here have been floating with the idea of making it as a PM. So what is our best chance in product management? When I say that, what do you think is your best bet to crack the best PM role out there? Why do you think you should get a PM role in, let's say, FANG, any of the FANG companies or any Prima tech company? What are your best chances that will help you achieve that?
Uh,
And it's okay not sorry.
so just trying to understand the question. It's like, this is the first time I've like came across this question. Actually, never thought about that yet. So it's interesting also. Uh, if we have to answer that, it will be like very small number, right? Small percentage, maybe.
No. I don't mean a number. I don't mean I'm not. It's not a probability question.
Okay.
I'm looking. The kind of answer. If I have to answer this for myself, My best chances in product management is a company which is looking for the first growth hacker, and from there on, I'll bring the product management practices in. So that's the kind of. I think it's okay if we don't have that kind of clarity. It will only come with time. But if there must be some sense that has already developed in all of us, because we have been into this idea of breaking product management. So what I'm trying to understand here from this group is that. Like for Ayush or for Hari or for other folks as well, what is that one chance you have that is going to materialize your candidature? And like this is for everyone. I like more people to take a shot here as well.
Okay. So if like I'm speaking,
Like if I put a perspective here, for every one product manager role that Zomato publishes, there are some 6,800 profiles or 6,800 candidates, right? That goes to the HR. And I'm saying that for 6,800 profiles that is going to the HR, there is like another 10,000 of it which is being filtered out just by the ATS. So which means you get the competition, right? We have 1,400 people graduating from ISB every year who are only getting into product management. So which means a lot of people want to do it, and there must be reasons why people want to do it. That's different. But when we are in a space that's so competitive, what's my best chance? I think that's the probe I want to drive in.
so it's a probability question, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure we'll have a number here. But yeah, go for it.
Okay. If it is about probability, I mean, of course, it goes like from thousands, 10,000, one out of that, right? I don't know.
Okay.
So
Anyone else who can take a
So,
shot here?
so yeah, this is Srinath. Hi, Kushagra. I think, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So this is like somebody pointed. I think this is a fabulous question to open up the discussion, and I think we really need to be brutally honest to answer this properly. Uh, so the way I am thinking at looking at this question is, I mean, like you said, there is huge competition for every Zomato or for any fine question that I mean, a lot of people are looking for. But I think individually, if you look at each person's chance, it should, from my perspective, it is around product management is a very what's the right word? You need to find your right flavor to actually fit. Is what I would think of it. So there are all sorts of different kind of product management flavors out there that each company requires, and in fact, my own experience has been that even within a company, each company needs different kind of product manager at different stages of its products. So the same product manager who is very good at one stage of the product in one department might not be very successful or effective at the other one. So I think the best chance, if you want to answer the best chance, I think it is about trying and constantly figuring out that flavor of product management where you can individually fit given our
Yeah,
individual
that's
background.
that's a
For
great
example,
template that you are introducing
right,
here, because following that template will help you figure out your best chance. I think that's a very good way
correct,
to
right,
think about it. But what I'm looking for is just to make things very much contextual, because the magic lies in context. So just to make things very much contextual,
correct. Hmm.
is everyone here, like if we have 10 participants or 10 attendees, are all 10 of us here having even a vague understanding of what's my best chance right now? Like that understanding may come 6 months later, that's different. But right now, are we having that understanding?
for that,
Yeah.
we'll
So
need to.
I think. Sorry, one second. I think if the question is like you said, context, right? So if the context is only fan company, then I think the number goes down significantly for each person individually. But if we broaden that to, like I said, different markets, different companies, different kind of industries, then I think you can have a different chance at it.
Yeah, you're right about it.
Does that make
I
sense?
think that's how
Yeah.
even I think about it. Yeah, that's how even I think about it.
Okay.
Any other folks who want to put a 2 cent here?
Yeah. So this is Mohit.
Hi, Mohit.
Hi. So there are two things, right? One is you get shortlisted based on your background, and second is the interview process, right? So one is you need to have some background that you can say that if let's say product management are 10 things, and if you have
Mhm.
expertise in three things, then you can sell it out, right? And you can convince the company that, okay, I have three things that I can bring to the table right away, and the rest seven things I can do it while on the job. That is one.
Okay. Okay.
And second is, uh, even if you don't have the experience, but if you can crack those interviews, if you can bring the thought process while you're in the interview, that's that that will again boost your chances. Those are the two factors, right?
Interesting. So Mohit, if you have to answer this for yourself, what will be your answer?
Yeah.
Like not the number, but like what are those 3 out of 10 skills you think that will give you your chances, or
Yeah.
what's there in the profile that will help you get shortlisted? What's your answer there?
Yeah. So like I have had two jobs so far, and both have been at startups, and they both have been mostly a journalist kind of role, and uh, where majority of the work was in marketing and little bit was
Okay.
product facing, right? So like
Okay.
you gave out an example that you can start out as a growth marketer and then proceed to become a product manager. So at the moment, what I do at like my role at my company right now uh, is 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 similar to a growth marketer. So
Interesting.
that's how I'll
Interesting.
position myself first, that I do marketing, and at the same time I recommend changes to the product that are uh, that I feel are aimed at getting that uh, uh, next uh, spurt of growth that's needed.
Got it. So you will obviously fare very good against somebody who has not seen the tech startup space, who has not been a generalist kind of who has not had a generalist kind of a profile. So you'll definitely have a better chances compared to that person. That makes sense. So
Right.
that kind of understanding is important. And the larger point I'm trying to drive from both the question is because the space is competitive, because we know that everyone wants to get into tech, and product management is a great entry point to it. And we also know that it's a profile where there is no one size fit all, which means the magic is in context. We need to answer this question for us. And the reason I feel even the first question is very important is because that is what is going to set your direction, right? Because if most of us are going to start a role in a kind of a company that 5 years before was not even existing, so believe me, in that kind of an organization, um, there is no set direction to what a product manager should do. And I'm not saying that this the answer to this question has to be very clear, but probing yourself against these hard questions will help you set the tone for yourself, especially in the first question, which is about the impact. Because I'm sure, like if I have to ask this question to, let's say, Ayush, who has been working in capacity of a PM in TCS, problem solving as an art is not restricted to some function. Like a designer can be a great problem solver as well and can bring immense impact. A software developer in MongoDB can actually bring much more impact than a PM in the same organization. So problem solving or any other impactful uh, action is actually not restricted to a function, which means that as a PM, what you're supposed to do becomes very much contextual with your strength, your personality, and your overall collaborations. So these are the questions where we should start getting a large understanding. And what will happen is that this will eventually lead to you positioning yourself uniquely, because that's very important. That's the only thing that will then filter out one CV against 6800 CV in any tech startup. So from there, I'll actually try to put some more perspective into how the interview game behaves. And I've distributed into two sections: the unknowns and the knowns. So the unknowns are those variables which we can't have a control on, but we should be knowing it. The reason we should be knowing it, because then a we will not take things personally if those variables are not working for me, and B, I'll know what are my best chances against those variables. Okay? And I had these understandings based on the interviews I gave during my period of transitioning, because back then it was not easy to not take a rejection personally. I was taking it, and I think that's how it works naturally for most of us. Only to realize later that most of this rejection has much more to do with the interview panel and the organization and their ethos than me. So when you know it, then you start playing game much more uh, to your strength, and much less to what the world wants there. Okay. So with this, the first thing that I like to drive in is this is very much a personality role more than anything else. It's not about how much tech you know. It's not about how much design you know. The better organization you are in, the evolved organization you are in, you're going to have a set of folks who are going to outsmart you in any of the expertise you can name, be it technology, be it design, be it business, be it strategy, be it communication, be it distribution. If a PM in Netflix will obviously know less about distribution than the marketing manager in Netflix, right? A PM in Netflix will know much less about technology than the tech folks in Netflix. You're getting my point. So there is no way you can actually be an expert in any of those. It's just not meant to be. It can't be. The best you can do is have an working understanding of all of that. The best you can do is have an understanding of how that Lego fares out. But that's the most. So then the big question is, what are you doing, right? If somebody else understands business more than you, and if somebody else can build better than you, then what exactly are you doing? And that's where this particular present slide that you see on your screen will help you put your point across to an interview panel. Further, when you're working as a PM, then to your stakeholders, and overall in your product management career. This one slide is going to be very critical. So I'll take a moment here, go through it, and if we have some questions, we can take it. Any questions, guys?
So one question, Kushagra, I think I get the point you're trying to make here. So maybe one clarification question, if you could put it that way, is all these points are from an interview point of view, right? I mean, from a team's requirement, or what a team is looking for in a PM to deliver or bring to the table is different, right? I mean, the team is not worried about what your stories are or why you are unique, right? I mean, these are from an interview
No,
perspective. Is that right?
no, I'll actually differ. No, I'll actually differ there. While definitely this is going to help
Okay,
you a lot
good.
in an interview, definitely. But I'll still say that even as a PM, when you are managing multiple stakeholders, uh, this is going to be your ground zero. Your story, your personality, how are you unique, and a great understanding of all of that. That is where you are going
Okay.
to derive and deliver value. So while the immediate agenda, I think, of most of us here is to crack that first interview in a FANG or a parallel tech startup,
Right.
and for that it's immensely important. But it doesn't stop there at all. I don't think it stops there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, nice.
Right. So I think Hari was mentioning this about his previous experiences, that he has had some 3 startups till now, and he's not sure how his CV will look like. I think this is where the slide should answer you, Hari, that what your CV will look like is actually going to be very different, and you have to bring out that story, because then what you also bring is an experience of solving 3 different problems. Um, and I think 9 out of 10 problems any product manager in any company is solving, the solutions are not working. It's 1 out of the 10 solution that works, and hence right now what has happened in most of the tech companies, the word used is no longer solution. The word used is bet, because that's the nature of it. So I think this is where you should understand that the series of startups that you have started, you have run, is actually going to give you a very unique story, and that's what you need to sell. Any other question on this slide, guys? I like to index on the third point, which is help the interviewer see you. Because if an interviewer is seeing you as a person who is trying to fit into a product management template, it's like everybody else doing that. So there is no distinction at all. So when that doesn't happen, then the interviewer is having no other way but to fall back on signals, right? And the signals become what college you went, who is referencing you, all of that. And that is only happening because the interviewer is not seeing you enough. And that's when then he is asking those age-old puzzle questions, age-old case studies. All of that happens because the interviewer is not knowing you enough, is not seeing you enough. So do that interviewer a favor by radiating your story as clearly as possible, and helping him see why you are unique, because I think we all are, because of our experiences. This is not the first role we are going to take after our college, which means our experiences and the synthesis of that experience is going to make us unique. It's just about thinking deep enough and articulating it. So that first takeaway that I think we should be noting it and definitely acting on it. Now, this is the second thing that I'll again take a moment and have this group think over, which is there are competitions for you, and not just the competition, which is other candidates for the same role, but much more beyond it. And I think the 3 points that I have written are actually the primary competitions. Any question here, guys? What do we understand by your interviewer bias? Any thoughts?
So yeah, first and second kind of seem like understandable. I was worried about the third one.
Actually, that's I didn't get the name. Who is it?
Hari again.
Hari. Hari, great point. The third one is that's going to be the major competitor. First and second is okay because you can't do much. Third is where you are, and when I say you, I mean most of us.
Yeah.
Third is where most of us are digging our own grave, because this understanding of product management is something which which depicts more of a limitation than anything else. And that what happens here is that people try to force fit themselves into a template, which means if I'm speaking about a product management role, I have to follow circle method. I think we all know what circle method is because that's there in one of those product management books. What I'm trying to largely say is that that template comes across too strong for someone to understand that there is something missing, right? And that's where third point is actually very interesting, which is our understanding of product management is going to be much more of an inhibitor than enabler in early days of our interviews, and not even in early days. The sad thing is that even for guys who have been in product management long, even when they are being interviewed for their next role, this comes as more of an inhibitor. I had this conversation with this product manager who was just for the person, it was very hard to contemplate product manager in context of physical products. The candidate's understanding was constrained within product management being only in context of consumer internet and nothing beyond it, right? So and it was too hard for the candidate to break in the interview that the interview only went south after that. So our own understanding of product management actually at a lot of times is going to inhibit us. And the way to go about it is not having a preconceived notion. Instead of thinking how will a product manager solve it if there's a problem statement in hand, or instead of thinking how will a product manager articulate it if there a question needs to be answered, what we should be thinking is how should I go about answering it based on my understanding? How will I solve it based on my intelligence? Because the understanding of product management in itself is very evolving. This function was not existing 15 years back. So which means all the understanding which is right now will not be relevant, let's say 2 years down the line. Very high chance that you and the interviewer are on different page. So no reason for you to templatize yourself. That's all I mean by the third point, which is our understanding of product management. But I'd like to know more views here, guys. Good that you opened up, Hari, on this. I think I'm keen to have more thoughts here.
Yeah, Kushagra. Suraj here. Am I audible?
Yeah, Suraj, go for it.
Yeah. My point is actually the industry bias. Actually, I was working as an associate product manager and then got transferred as a business analyst due to this crisis. So
Mhm.
I'm been working as a product owner from last 3 years, 2 3 years. It's a product owner kind of role where I'm interacting with the technical. The industry bias which I observed is the hiring only for tier one, tier two MBAs. And now I'm not an MBA. I'm a bachelor in computer science.
Hmm.
This bias comes across between to get into a product manager or sort of a product a seniority level or maybe a different
I
level
get
where
it.
you can actually make an impact.
No, that's
And
a
this
great
bias
point,
is something which
Suraj. Yeah,
yeah,
good that you're bringing it up because that exists out there. There is no reason not to talk about it. Because not to talk
yeah.
about will just help us ignore the fact, but it will not help us solve the fact. Um,
So
I'll only say one thing here, Suraj, is that we have enough product managers across the stack, right from APM to product managers to senior product managers to director of product managers to chief product officers to guys who are great product leaders who have defeated these signals. And when I say defeated these signals, meaning what you just mentioned, like tier one or tier two MBA could be one of the things, and IIT TAC could be another one. So I'm not saying that those biases don't exist. I think you and me both know that it does exist. But what we have also seen is there are enough evidence that these biases, there are way around it. And the only way we can build those way around is first acknowledging that it exists. So great point. It does exist. It exists across industry. It exists for a PM role. It exists for an investment banker role. It exists for a consultant role in McKinsey. It does exist. You're right about it.
yeah.
Anyone has ever felt the interviewer bias?
Many times.
Yeah. So I think what I have realized about is that um, especially in product management, the if we have a so let's understand the interviewer as well. So who is this interviewer? This person is again very much like you and me, but let's say 2 years ahead in the ladder at best, right? Or 3 years ahead in the ladder. So which means there is no way in world that this person can also have a 100% comprehensive understanding of the space. The space in itself is evolving. It's not brand marketing which has been out there since the days of Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, right? It's an evolving space. So now problem क्या होता है यहाँ पे that while the interviewer in itself has a very evolving understanding of product management and not an absolute understanding, uh, they will still benchmark you against their own understanding, and their own understanding has obviously has gaps. So it's hard luck there. That's one. Second is I think it's no coincidence that there are. So I think like in my last session, I named those startups here, but I won't be doing this time because it's actually too controversial. But then there are startups where all the product managers are from IIT Mumbai. Uh, there is another startup where all the product managers are from ISB. Like we have such instances in Bangalore. Uh, it only it's all it is saying is that the interview panel they themselves are not very sure, and hence they are falling back to some typical signals which can keep them safe. So you have that bias, and it exists, right? So the best we can do is acknowledge it and not take any of those personally. So which means if I'm not going to be selected in one of those startups where all the existing PMs are from IIT Kharagpur, it's okay. I know ki it's not me but them. Like get it right. So these biases exist, and definitely there are way around to work about it, which we'll explore further. And I think the workaround actually lies in this first slide, which is your personality. Tell the interviewer, tell the panel your story, and that's enough. Just do a great job doing that. Any questions here, or should we move ahead?
Yeah, one thing I would like to mention.
Yeah.
I hope I'm
Hmm.
audible. Yeah. So let's
Yeah,
say
yeah.
so everyone, I think like different people have different understanding of product manager as well as
Yeah.
their experiences. So for example, option A is valid for me, but for a different product manager, it will not be valid, and he would be looking for option B, right? So what I'm saying is, so let's say in interview I got to know that okay, I was following option A, which was not uh, the thing that they wanted,
Option A worked
and
against
now
you.
I'm
Option A worked against you. You are
yeah
saying in interview.
yeah
Okay.
yeah, and I started learning those points, and I went in that way. Okay.
Okay.
Now
Uh,
now in another interview I got to know
Option B
okay,
worked
they were
against
looking
you.
option B.
Yeah.
So
I get it. I get it. So that's where I'm saying don't think of solving any of these, but go back to point number one, which is instead of solving for option A, option B, option C, the reason why the interviewer bias exists, the reason why the industry bias exists is because it's hard for the industry or it's hard for the interviewer to see the real you in a job that's largely personality driven and all they have is an R and a case study. So it's very, very hard. So hence they fall back to signals, and that's where the bias comes in. It has nothing to do with you, and it's very hard for you to solve it. You can't actually solve some bias that has compounded over 5 years or 4 years. In case of some tech companies, that hiring culture has compounded. So what the best you can do is be yourself and build your profile around your personality. When you do that, you will automatically find yourself in positions to challenge these biases instead of focusing on. So for example, if there is a panel who is only hiring from ISB, so what can you do? Like either you can go back and get a 1 year MBA from ISB, or maybe you can just take a very strong call that it's okay, my profile has enough metal in it, and eventually someone will see it. So it's very much like dating. It's actually very much like dating, where there are two ways to go about it. Either you be yourself and eventually you find a date with whom you will hit it off, or you are constantly tweaking yourself with every dating experience. Again, no right or wrong answer, but at least the understanding of how dating works will help. Similarly, an understanding of how product management interview will work and how these biases are will work. Right.
that's a great example.
Cool. I think let's go to the next slide. So, so the reason I have brought this slide is because there are, again, this has come from my own understanding of for if we look into the tech space at different junction, there are different problems that any tech company is solving. Most of those problems are very similar in nature, right? So be it a ShareChat, or be it a Misho, or be it a Pagar book, be it a Khata book, during the seed stage or a series A stage, all of them are trying to prove the product market fit. The product market fit has been established, but the scale around product market fit has not been achieved. So all they are doing is prove that product market fit, and the only way product market fit can be proved is by numbers. And when I say numbers, I mean acquisition numbers. Uh, Acquisition numbers and retention to your retention numbers. I'm sure like when you guys will uh, if I go deep into the topic here of product market fit, I think there are two ways any company justify it. How your acquisition cohort behaves and how your retention cohort behaves. Retention is nothing but if X number of users are coming and using my product today, how many of them are retained across a typical lifetime, and what is the LTV I derive out of it. So yahi do cheez hai. These are the only two things for any tech company. So which means in the seed to series A stage, regardless of who you are, if you can actually drive growth for that company and you can prove that I can drive growth for you, you are in. That's what they want. They don't have a lot of time to wait. If you take example of Pagar book, I think they had last in 2020 July was a Medium article and some early proof of concept. By 2020 December, Akshay Kumar was doing their ads. So you can think about how rapid their scale around product market fit was achieved. And the only thing that would have helped them doing that is a lot of folks with growth mindset, a lot of folks who are very bullish about driving growth and skills around it. So which means that if we understand that कि कौन से point in the cycle of a tech company कौन सा skill set चाहिए होगा, that is going to solve the most important problems of those companies, then we will understand कि इस तरह का PM चाहिए इनको, right? And then what we have to do, we have to go back to the drawing board to realize कि मैं कौन हूँ इसमें से. Am I a guy who can drive growth? Am I a guy who can solve problem statements when the product market fit has already been established? When I know that for a market out there, a product like this will be used, and all I need to do is keep iterating on bets, which then becomes your Series B and beyond. Or I am a guy who is great in emotional intelligence and stakeholder management and communication, and I can just keep everybody calm by me myself being on my toes. तो वो हो जाता है तेरा third category of guys who are needed. And regardless of again which industry it is, what company it is, these problems will exist in those stage. I'm actually bad in graph, or else I would have made a circular graph to show a cycle of a tech company where I would have indexed how do you define a stage and the most important problem in that stage. And then I could have given some examples just to illustrate a larger point, which is that all tech companies are having similar problem in a particular phase of their existence. Between seed to Series A, set of problems are similar. Between Series B and beyond, set of problems are similar. And once you are at a scale and achieving on a and working like a FANG or a Geo, then your set of problems are similar again. Very much like I think one of those quotations: all happy families are happy the same way, but all unhappy families are unhappy for different number of ways. Very similar to that. So when we understand it, then we realize how should I go about targeting my company? How should I go about targeting my first PM role? So like again, take a moment, think about it. This is an interesting slide actually. This is actually going to unlock a lot of opportunities if understood the right way. Yeah. So any question here, guys?
So if you were to go about looking for your first PM role, where would you go looking for it? I mean, which
हाँ यार, तो
according to
मैंने
you
पहले वाला
will...
टारगेट किया. हाँ हाँ, मेरा पहला वाला ही था, सीड एंड सीरीज है. I'll tell you why.
अच्छा.
So एक तो based on my profile, based on my work experience till 2018 November, I had an understanding of how data works, how do you extract actionable insights from early evidence, early data, and second was that my role in Multibhashi, where I was the first growth person, let's say, and it was a 5 to 6 member team. So based on those experience, मेरे को चमक गया था that my best chances into product management will be a company who has just raised their first 5 million, let's say, or first 10 million US dollars, and now they are building a product team. So the way it works is like most of the company will not have a product team before their first $5 million. And until then, the product management is done by the founding team itself, and they are working directly with the designer, the development team, the marketing team, and quickly launching to achieve product management at scale. Sorry, to achieve product market fit at scale. And then once that is done, once you have product market fit at scale, enough scale, not obviously market saturation, like far from there, but enough scale, then you raise your first 5 million or you get your first Series A, and that's when you start building a product team. So my understanding was that that's the best shot I have. अब यहाँ पे I tell you why I thought that's the best shot I have. A was my own understanding of my profile. B was that when let's say something like a Pagar book, or let's take example of Kite. They are into education tech. They got started last year. This year, I think a month back in January, they raised their first series round of 5 million, and they are incubated in Sequoia Search. So now they are looking for their first product manager. And if someone like me will like to believe that I have a better chance here compared to somebody who has done 5 years of product management in a established company, is because I am willing to take that risk, which the other person might not be. That anyway gives me an advantage. B will be my own profile of working with early companies and early startups, and having that established growth mindset. And C will be that point B also index on me able to be okay with lack of resources. So I think that's how I went about it. It's a real thing that I thought. Like it's a real thing that I did for myself. And when I looked into the interviews I cracked, the 3 interviews that I did not crack was actually the Series B and beyond, the second league. In seed and Series A, I cracked all the interviews, and in corporates also I cracked all the interviews. The B is actually this league is actually the toughest because because the perks and the way a product manager is rewarded in this league is unparalleled. So you get the most uh, competitive sense out there when you are trying to crack into
Yeah,
that league,
my
Series B and
follow
beyond.
up question was which of those PM roles across these three categories offer you the maximum exposure in terms of learning?
So I've been lucky that
Would
way
it be
because when I
Series B and
joined,
beyond?
actually it will be Series B and beyond. So I'll tell you, when I joined Casa One, it was in Series A stage, but now it has come to this league. Now we are Series C. We just closed one of our death rounds, and so which means that Series B and beyond, and because I've seen that transition, the learning that I've got in last 1 year when we have been in the league of Series B and beyond is actually the best because you have now a lot of engineering and design resource in your organization. You have achieved product market fit, and now you all you need to do is crack distribution, and most of your products then become distribution products, and you
Right.
are constantly competing with the competition, which means you have to be on toes of business, tech, and design, and lead all three of them. So I think the best learning out there is for Series B and beyond, 100%.
Got it. Got it.
And that's why it's toughest. Like as I mentioned, someone like a Swiggy or a Zomato or a Khata Book, it's toughest to get into it compared to something like a Geo or an Enterprise or a Zoho or a Fresh Desk, which will be in league of, let's say, corporates. वो काफी आसान होंगे compared to uh, the companies I mentioned, which is Series B and beyond. So yeah.
Okay. So just to use another example, would you also put cred in Series B and beyond?
हाँ, मतलब it's like it's a Series B. I think they just raised 80 more millions to be close to some 900 million of valuation. They are like going to be a unicorn, but yeah, obviously they will be in Series B and beyond.
Yeah. Got it.
Plus, I think credit to anyway they have a great product culture. I think the kind of product managers they have hired, and in general, the product in itself speaks for itself. So yeah.
Right. True.
Cool. I think we can move to the next slide, which is the action items. What should we do? How should we go about it? And the action item is again a major derivative of our first slide, which was our own story. And what I'll encourage everyone here is to have three versions of your story ready: a long format, an executive summary, and an elevator pitch. And obviously, while you are at it, develop some editorial level writing skills. Writing skills are going to be your strongest weapon. Before you have cracked an interview, during your interviews, after your interview. This is one skill that's going to differentiate you. How well you write, how articulative you are, how much people love your reading. Like how much people love anything that you have written. Can they just read, go on and read? So if you are that person in your organization, nothing like it. And because it's a thinking game, writing is nothing but a tool to think. So that's how I put it. So action items here for us, I think, us should be to have three version of our story ready. Any question here, guys?
Hello, Kushagra. Lakshman here.
Hey, hi, Lakshman.
Yeah. So my question is, like, I have been hearing this in the slides, like story. So what can you please give some pointers, like what all should we include in this? Because the candidate like me who is going to look for a first time as a product manager with the industry experience, and the learning from the pragmatic leaders. So what all we should include in the format, and like a few pointers for that?
That's a great point, Lakshman. I think can you tell me more about you? What are you doing right now? What's your profile? What has been your
Yeah, yeah,
journey so far?
yeah, sure. So I have total 17 years of industry experience, total in software, and I have been doing currently an iteration manager. So it's kind of a mix of a product management as well as the Scrum Master role. So I've been working with the team who is working on a product, developing a product, one of the feature, and I look for the agile practices as well as their delivery. So this so this experience I've been in this role since last 4 to 5 years now, and before that I was a project lead, doing some technical responsibilities in the team for delivery, then project management processes, and before that I was a programmer in .NET and C++. So this is all about my experience.
Got it. And what kind of product management role are you looking for? Like, what's your definition of your next role? How will that look like, or how should that look like?
So what I'm looking for is like owning a feature of a product, or like a multiple features of a product, depending on the size of product I will be working on, and working end to end for that feature, right from understanding the pain points of the users, or like the if it is an idea, then what idea or a vision we are looking for that feature, then having the UI specs or wireframes for that designing, and then implementing that feature with the team, and then delivering that feature which will serve the idea as well as the vision of the product.
Okay, got it. Interesting. So I think if I were you, and if I have that 17 years of experience understanding how softwares have evolved in India, and overall, I think that in itself puts me into a lot of leverage in how can you. I think the first great value proposition that your story should reflect is building a very clean and a very hygienic engineering culture, and that in itself will then put a product team into great advantage, because the engineering will be in a lot of way debt free. The engineering will then solve for scale as scale is achieved. The engineering will support for some very quick experiments, because the infrastructure will be there. And while you are at it, you will learn the nuggets of the business in which you are trying to get into. And I think that's where you will be contributing to the vision statement and understanding feature from the problem solving point of view. So basically, what I mean every time I use the word story is, very clearly the interviewer should know what you bring on the table, how you are different than any other candidate out there, so that with that understanding he can map you to his organization. He can map you to his paradigm of product managers which he is building. Every interviewer is building a team of product team, so you will be that product manager who might start out as a tech PM, as a technology product manager, and then move to a conventional PM role with a very solid tech infrastructure to back on with. So I think if I were you, I'll read more about how PayPal is hiring product managers, how Netflix have hired system product managers, who has built AWS, who has solved for distribution of AWS. And there are some great product managers out there. So I think that's how I'll go about understanding the space and building my story.
Yeah, great, understood. Yeah, thanks, Kushagar. I think that helps me, because I was wondering like how we should hide and build a story around like what we can bring, what value we can bring to the table, to that role.
The problem is, if your story is not enough, it's very easy to be typecasted. Like I think this is what Ayush was also hinting, that being a PM in TCS, the prima impression that comes across is a product manager in a service-driven organization. How will that fit into a consumer tech culture, right? So these are nothing but signals. Like these are nothing but typecasts that gets created very early. And the only way you can defeat those typecasting is by actually putting your story very strongly. So yeah. So in your case also, I see a very high risk of typecasting at a lot of levels. So all the more important for you to have the right target set of companies, and your story should speak for itself.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. Thank you.
So I'll quickly move to the next section. Yeah.
Kushagra. So, I mean, technically, we have a belief that we can tell our stories best ourselves, right? But just to get your point of view, once, I mean, my story has been like, in short, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been through various stages of various startups. So I think I've been into various roles. So I understand a lot of things around that. That's how I've been pitching myself, right? So, but my story was usually not bought due to a lot of other reasons. I mean, I never reached that Series A, Series B filters. I mean, those their filters always, filtered me out, not inside. So I don't know what was the gap. So
Mhm.
if you can comment on that.
So again, it's hard to comment because I think I don't have a lot of data here.
Okay.
I need to
So,
understand more. I'll tell you
uh,
what do I need to understand more here. I need to understand more. How many Series A companies have you spoken to? How many seed level companies have you spoken to? Like all, so which means like if every month in Bangalore we are having at least 5 companies getting Series A funded, which will be in a year more than 60 companies. That's a given, give or take. उतना तो हो रहा है. So which means there
hmm,
will be at least 5 times of that, which is at least 300 tech startups at seed level in Bangalore, and which means there will be at least 500 tech co-founders at seed level in Bangalore. So how many of them are you speaking to, and then how many at Series A level and have you already spoken to? What मतलब आपका data कितना है मेरे को यहाँ पे पता नहीं है for me to comment, but yeah, the
of
more you
course.
help me realize, the better it would.
No. Okay. I mean, sure. So, I mean, very specifically, very detailed thoughts, I think we can do individually, right?
I think that's the best way to go about it. Like anyway, as I told you, right, it's very contextual. That's the reason why even in the first and second question, I was trying to get as many people speak up as possible because ये है ही नहीं one size fit all. Possible ही नहीं है. It only lies in context. So yeah.
Of course.
So I think the next set of slides are on something that we know. Abhi tak we were talking about things that we don't know, which is the biases, which is the personality type, because all of this is contextual and based on what kind of companies are we speaking to. But knowns are something that we know, and I'll say that if we do a great job with the knowns, that too I've seen has worked wonders. I've seen people who have cracked Fang, and I've seen enough people cracking Fang only doing a great job with the knowns, which is something like. Let me just go to the next slide. Yeah, I think understanding the PM interview, understanding a template, and doing a great job only by practicing. Be it the case studies, be it puzzle, estimations, all of this. And I think this is where the course is going to play a role because the course is going to ramp you up with all of this. I think one of the practices that I have heard one of a veteran from Silicon Valley preach is that daily take a product, any app from Play Store, any product in Product Hunt, just take it and tear it down. Just tear it down, which means 3 to 4 things why you like that and 3 to 4 things which you think can be optimized. I personally am not a fan of that because that tearing down is very contextless. Like if I don't order food, let's say online, and I take Swiggy randomly one day and start tearing it down, I don't know if that's the right way to understand the product, but I've seen this working for a lot of folks. I've seen people developing a great product sense only by doing it. So maybe it has not worked for me, but that might not be the case for everyone. So no harm done. If not anything, you will see you will develop some great mental model on how user experience have evolved on various product types and how communication and marketing copies have been for different product types. वो understanding तो आ जाएगा, which in itself will add to product sense. Second thing is about business and data case studies. वो होता ही है. That's again given. That's there in one of the rounds. One project of yours that you can go and speak a lot. And I think this is where your chance to project your story. And then there will be puzzles and guess estimation. I think all the PM interviews that I give, I think these four will be a universal set. ये चार तो रहेगा ही. Like anything, any interview will have 3 out of these 4 or 2 out of these 4. So which means, and the best part about these 4 points is that you can work on all of these, right? You can't work on an industry bias or an interviewer bias as much as you can work on building a product sense by tiering product, or developing great case studies skills, right? Or just being good at problem solving, guess estimation. Like it or not, those elements are going to be there, and you can't do much about it. So better to ace it and be safe. What has worked in my case for these 4 pointers? I think first principle thinking and thought structure defining the problem statement. And I think this is where a lot of literature exists. I'm sure you guys must be anyway reading articles on so many success case studies on how people have went about and cracked product management in Google, Swiggy, and they all will stress upon the fact, which is first principle thinking. First principle thinking is nothing but solving a physics question in SC Verma. So same typical uh, um, skill set or aptitude is required, where you are understanding anything at a very conceptual level, not using anything that you don't understand, not using a label or a term that you don't understand is very important. Like saying something like uh, um, uh, so all of these terms, I think that's in fashion right now. A lot of candidates don't understand it very well, and it's okay because that understanding will only come with work. But then using it because the larger idea is that it will make me sound cool, it will make me sound as a PM. Don't do it. It will only come across as wannabe and make it very hard for you to exhibit first principle thinking. Think of it as solving a physics problem from the very basics. Any problem statement that you get, and then once you start practicing first principle, the thought structure will evolve. That will definitely evolve, and that will then lead to you defining the problem statement very clearly. So, any questions on these two slides?
I'm saying this thought structures again comes with the experience, right?
Practice, I'll say. Like if my experience is in writing content, I will not have a thought process or a thought structure to solve for growth. I'm just trying to take an example. So it's more of a function of practice.
Of course.
But if you have been a first principle thinker all your life, then that is a transferable skill. If for me, even writing one line of advertisement copy, I follow first principle, then that will scale for how I write my PRDs in product. That will scale across. So first principle thinking should be practiced in anything we do. That will add up for sure.
That first principles is little, I would say, weird, because I find it weird because if we are going to work on that, we'll probably think of scrapping everything what we have, right? And we'll start building something else which we are not, and in that case, the MVPs will be very, very different, very, right?
I think we need to understand more the point you're trying to drive. Can you explain that a bit more?
Okay, that might be difficult. So I'm saying, I'm just trying to take a case, assuming I just joined a startup, right? And it has been working on something since some long time. Then I joined them to solve some other problem. But if I had to solve that problem looking at the first principles, um, I'll go back to the basics of what they are doing. Then I'll go back to looking at how best to do that, and then I'll go back to to find best ways to do that. So everything, like the core
I
agenda
get
of the
it. I think
startup.
I get what you are saying. What you
Right.
are saying is very practical because usually if I join a company that already has a bunch of problem statements defined and to
Right.
some level even the solutioning exists, then all I'm expected is to first go ahead and execute it and get my first few wins. I think you're very
Right.
practical that way. But even then, I'll say, although I think the context of me indexing on first principle was from in an interview point of view, but even on your point, I'll say that while the practicality of my reality may not allow me to be a first principle thinker throughout, 100% exists. I think we have a few PMs joining us in my company, and I've seen that happening. But I think even then, one should still practice it as much as they can, because that will
Hmm.
help you develop the context, and that context will then make. So let's say their pehla patch problem is defined already, and the first five problems that you solve in your new company has been defined. The context anyway exists. You don't need to go back to drawing board. All of that has been done. But the sixth problem, the seventh problem, the 10th problem, that will be needed.
Yeah.
So um, so I think first principle, if not anything, will help you ask the right questions, help you build the right stakeholders around you, and help you develop the more context. Even if, let's say, you are doing something as simple as changing the color of a CTA, and the research has already been done that ye blue se red hona chahiye. Uh, User experience team has already proposed it. Tech team is already ready to just change the color and whatever. But if you still go back to drawing board and ask the right questions, probe the teams around it, uh, they will help you understand how your team thinks, how the culture and processes are around, what business you are in. All of that will be answered. So I think वो anyway करना चाहिए. Although I think you are right कि होता नहीं है, practicality allow नहीं करता है, but होना चाहिए. I didn't get your name.
Again, Hari.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I think I'll move forward. Yeah. What does not work? I think if there a question to you, which is, you are a product manager of WhatsApp and you want to increase the daily active users from 40 million to 60 million, what will you do? And within a minute you are proposing five solutions. That will never work. That will never fly. And in some cases, I think the interview is done. If depends on the
Hmm.
panel, but 90 out of 10, the interview is anyway done if you are solutioning in the first minute. But in first cases, like, that's the last question also for you. So never solution on the go, and try to develop it as a very cultural thing in your habit, because that will then take you places even as a PM. Because solutioning is easy. The reason why I think product management as a function exists is because to identify the right problem. Solutioning is actually easy, and for solutioning you have the best talent out there. You have the best set of developers, designers, marketeers. All of them are there. Where actually lack of clarity exists is who will tell them the right problem statement to solve, who will tell them the right vision to strive for, who will give them the clarity day in day out daily for next 365 days. So shy away from solutioning. That's the easier part. Think of how do you identify the problem statement, which again, an example of increasing the daily active user of WhatsApp from 40 million to 60 million in India. You have to then identify the problem statements, and just try to do that as good as you can. So yeah, there's a typo here. I wanted to write SHIT. I've written SHEET, but you get the second point, right? Which is coming out as someone as who is not knowing his shit. So if you're using words like CAC and retention ratio and MAU to DAU ratios, and if you don't know them, so no point using them just because it's in the articles you have read, or that's how PM speaks. It's okay. It's not no कहीं पे लिखा नहीं है कि PMs have to use a certain terminology. ऐसा कहीं पे लिखा नहीं है. And in fact, the best PMs out there will use very simple language. I've never heard Talvinder using fancy terms. I've never heard him doing it. So you get it right. Just be authentic to your interview. Just be authentic to who you are, and that should be enough. And I think I mentioned this dating example pehle bhi. It's a lot of time it's not going to be you, but it's going to be variable outside of you. So in that case, just keep your game on and just keep swiping right. So yeah, that will be all from my side. Any question, guys?
So, as you mentioned that we should not propose solutions. So instead we should be like we should focus on the problems and should tell them that okay, these are the problems that you can focus on
You need to
and
solve. Yeah.
you can
Like for example, my example, so this is Siddharth, right?
right.
So Siddharth, अगर मेरे को example देना हुआ तो you use Swiggy, right?
So, sorry, your voice is breaking.
Have you used Swiggy
Yeah.
or Zomato? ठीक है. So
Yes.
if let's say the
Yes,
problem statement
yes.
for you will be that out of every 100 time a food cart is built on Swiggy, only 5 order comes. ठीक है. If this is a problem statement.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to say by avoiding solutioning on the go is what they are not looking for is you telling that, okay, I'll send a push notification to increase the number of order from 5% to 10%. That is what they are not looking. What they are actually looking for you is you putting a fight to understand what are those latent needs which are not being solved, for which a user is creating a food cart on Swiggy. They are creating a cart, but they are not ordering. वो समझना होगा, which means there could be a bunch of hypotheses you can make that they are finding the price too high, they are finding the delivery fee too high, they are finding the delivery time too high, the user experience is very non-intuitive for me to go ahead and complete the payment. I want cash on delivery. It's not, the cash on delivery is not in my area. I don't know. Bunch of reasons हो सकते हैं, and you have to put all of that there. You have to ask the right questions. Data will help you prioritize the right problem. Once you identify that, okay, the most important reason why 40% of all users who haven't placed an order after creating a cart on Swiggy has not done it because they are finding delivery fee too high. तो एक बार वो हो जाता है, now you have to propose a solution to your finance team, give them a modeling that if you remove delivery, then I project you a lift of 40%, and which means we'll anyway end up with a 12% net positive than where we are right now because of your delivery fee. So that's the way of going about it. Solution will be last 10% जो तू नहीं भी करेगा चलेगा. If you are actually building an argument that because of delivery fee, Swiggy is losing 40 out of every 100 customers, do you think somebody will not solve it? They will, right? But nobody is there actually building that argument. Nobody is there actually driving that understanding that this is a problem statement to solve. So that's where I'm coming from. Our job as product managers is to figure out the right problem statement that our company should focus on. So which means that then goes back to your job is to be the gatekeeper of the best resources and ensure that the best resources are solving the right problem. And best resources means tech, business, design, and obviously the capital of the company.
Mhm. Got it.
Hi Kushagra, this is Shreya here.
Hi, Shreya.
Actually, yeah. So actually, I've been like I heard your entire, the entire conversation, and I am back to where I started from. Like I am not a person who has been in industry. Okay, so I'm not a person who has been in corporate. So when you tell things like can you be a problem solver or can you look through situations, I think I can do that. But when you tell about creating my story, I really feel that I lack a lot of things, and I really don't know how do I put forth certain competencies which I actually have, but I do not have experience to back them with. So
I
if you
think,
just
I think that again, I don't know your profile enough, but still I'll say that I'm not sure that's the right way to think about it. Because even
okay,
though, let's say, you don't have a corporate experience or you don't have, let's
yeah.
say,
So let me
conventional
just
work
take
experience.
a
Yeah,
very brief time to tell you a background of a background of myself
yeah.
because it's really going to take less than 10 seconds.
No, no,
Well,
go for
I'm
it,
a
even if it take more.
yeah. Okay, I'm a PhD in finance and I have been
Mhm.
assistant professor in a B school. Okay, for the past 8 years. So that's about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Okay,
and I've been
okay.
teaching finance for the past 8 years, and that's about my profile. Okay, so I
Mhm.
really don't know that how do I transition because when you tell about all these things, I really feel that yes, I do have the competencies, wherein, let that be solving a problem, or let that be, coming up with solutions, or maybe actually finding out what could be the problem, because I've been into research, I've done a PhD and things like that. But again, I really don't know how do I put that forward. So can you just help me out, or maybe if the session is not the right time, we can connect later. However.
I think Shreya, the better way to go about is we should understand your profile more.
Okay.
Like from the outset of it, believe me, it's super interesting, right? And
Okay.
just because you have been in profession of being a professor, being a teacher, I think there are
Mhm.
few things which will definitely add up immensely to your product management stories, which is A, articulation, B,
Okay.
stakeholder management. I think
Mhm.
some of the elements are just there,
Mhm.
and it just has to be carved out well. And
Okay.
some of the competencies that you have developed by the virtue of the PhD that you have done and all will definitely
Mhm.
add up. I think
Okay.
you are short selling yourself by saying that there is no corporate experience as such. In fact, a very simple testimony of why profile like you will work and actually fly as PM. Just look into first few PMs in most of these tech companies in the valley, right? And most of them have not been typical uh, guys with work experience, but they have been professors and PhDs and lawyers and philosophy students who then went on to build products because they think as an audience, they think as a user, they understand pain points, and that's all is needed. So I think you should not be limiting yourself, and I think that will be all.
Yeah, thank you, Kushagra. I think that was really motivating as well. So I'll start thinking on these lines. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if all the participants today are are around from the same cohort. So I was from December. I don't know about others.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to ask, will you be taking any more sessions?
Yeah, I'm very easily available on
Sir.
WhatsApp, LinkedIn, not Slack because Slack नहीं देख पाता हूँ regularly. But I think just check with Sarika, get my WhatsApp number. I'll be like happy to get into more deeper and contextual conversation with you guys. Understanding your profile better, helping you position your story around your profile. I'll be happy to do that. So
Yeah,
just get my WhatsApp, connect from Sarika, or maybe hit me up on LinkedIn, and I'll love to chat.
sure.
Cool. I think we are good for a wrap. Anyway, I think feel free to hit me up, and we can chat later. It's Saturday night. I'm sure you guys have plans. So great talking to you guys.
Sure, Kushagra.
Yeah. Thanks, Kushag.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Good
Thank
night.
you so
Thanks, guys.
much. Good night.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thanks, guys.